I'm Katie from Wojo Homestead. If you're just now joining us, we appreciate you. Quick video today on some new recent additions to the homestead. Come take a look. So we've had Dolly and May, our Nigerian dwarf does, for just over a year now. This is Dolly here, and that's May. So who's this? These two are our new Dolings for 2022. They are also Nigerian dwarfs. This is Pip. Pip is a chocolate buckskin with a bunch of white, and she's got pretty brown eyes. And her sister, Aviva, or Viv, has blue eyes. Now these are full sisters, and actually May here is a half sister to these two little girls. So they share the same dad, different moms though. And Dolly is a very distant cousin. So these four girls are all from the same herd, and they're gonna make up our starting batch of breeding does. So Dolly and May will be bred this fall, and depending on size, these two girls will probably be bred next fall when they're about a year and a half old. Dolly and May are a little bit bossy, but they're getting used to these two, which is good. Pip over there is very, very loud. And Viv here is a little bit quieter. She's a little more standoffish to people, but she sure is pretty. These are both bottle babies. They're coming up on 12 weeks here, so they're down to 1 bottle a day in the morning. And they're not happy about it, but as long as we keep them busy, then they don't mind too much. But that's not all we got. Come see what else we have. This is little Mr. John Luke, aka Luke. And he is a Nigerian dwarf registered buckling. He is from the same herd as Pip, Viv, and Dolly and May, but he is not very closely related, so we could potentially breed him to really any of our does. And of course, you all met Cowboy already. Cowboy is our second breeding buck, and he is also a registered Nigerian dwarf, completely unrelated. He actually has blue cactus bloodlines. Both his parents were blue cactus goats, but we got him from a breeder in Michigan, and I just thought he was so pretty. This is life with goats, basically, all the time. So these two boys are also still on the bottle. They're a couple of weeks younger than the Dolings, so they're still on 2 bottles a day. And we are working on making a outdoor enclosure just for them, kind of along this fence line. We can't keep them with the girls because even though they are really, really young, they do display some interest in breeding, and we don't want that quite yet. Not the end of the world for our 2 adult does, but the Dolings are quite little yet to be engaged in that activity, even though you try, right? They're both very, very, very sweet boys. We just love them. Right, Luke? Your voice is hoarse. What's the matter? Goats are super entertaining. So what's the deal? Why have we decided to add goats to the homestead? Well, there are several reasons. These are not the first goats that we've had. We actually had a goat for about 12 years named Gracie. We absolutely adored her. She was a companion for one of our horses during a time when we only had one horse, and we loved her. She was great. So we always knew we wanted to go back to goats. That being said, we definitely did not treat her like a goat. We didn't learn anything about caring for goats other than that you can't fence them. She just kind of went where the horses went, ate what the horses ate. By sheer luck, she lived a good long time, even though she got into chicken feed all the time, which now I know is absolutely terrible for them. We lost our very old horse, Honey, back in October of 2020. And our remaining horse was alone, so we decided to add Dolly and May, our Nigerian dwarf Dolings, in spring of 2021. So that provided some companionship. We weren't ready to get another horse yet. As it happened, Victoria passed away last summer of 2021, and honestly, I was just absolutely heartbroken. She was my horse since I was really, really young, and she was my first horse and kind of my heart horse. So that was really, really hard, and Dolly and May just kind of became my focus. So what originally was going to be a couple of pet goats with a little inkling, like, you know, what if we wanted to do dairy someday, that became then a budding dream of yes, we really want to raise goats. Dolly and May were fairly insecure being just the two of them. They were always hyper focused on where Eric and I were, what we were doing. And so we definitely figured out that while they were companions for one another, two goats does not make a herd, if that makes sense. So we knew we were wanting to add more. So we did some thinking and we did some research, and we really tried to get educated on goat care, goat breeding. We took a couple of classes and really kind of practiced on Dolly and May, keeping their shots up to date, keeping their feet trimmed, working with some mineral deficiencies that they had, and kind of figuring all of those things out. It was definitely not easy. It was a steep learning curve, but they have proven to be very economical to keep, even though we're providing them with quality feed and quality care. For example, their first year, it cost us less to feed the two of them the whole year than it cost us to feed one horse for 1 month. So that was a big plus. Another point is they were also a very good addition to our land. So we have a primarily wooded property, and we know that we want to have grazing animals in the future. So we are needing to open it up at least to silvopasture type status, which is forage, grass growing under trees basically. And so that you can use the lumber and also be grazing animals through that same land at the same time. They spent the summer back in these woods clearing out, I would say, about a ½ acre of underbrush. We didn't do it very intensively. We could have done more. But they really did a good job, and we were quite happy with that. And then something else that we had really given more thought to is that we want to actually do dairy for ourselves. I'm sensitive to cow's milk. I've always wanted to get into cheese making, make a little bit of butter, and so that is something that really appeals to us, controlling the quality of our dairy, especially with things getting so expensive now. So when we were looking for our goats, we did some thinking, and there were really two options. We could have chosen to go and pick up unregistered goats for a cheaper price, and as long as they were healthy, that would have worked. We would have been able to breed them and we would have gotten milk, and it probably would have been fine. We chose to go with only registered breeding stock. So all of our goats are registered with the American Dairy Goat Association. That was important to us because in order to get milk from a goat, you do need to breed it. It has to have babies. If we are going to be selling goats, we want to make sure that we are selling the best quality goats that we can. And for us, that means that they are registered, they're conforming to the breed standards, and that they're healthy. There's several goat diseases. We wanted to make sure that all of our goats were coming from a clean tested herd and a herd where the breeding stock was registered. We want to improve the breed and we want to contribute something positive. I wanted people who bought from us to be able to see, you know, their lineage and have some kind of idea of what they were getting for their money. So we chose to get papered animals. You don't have to do that. By all means, do what you can afford to do. Overall, the goats have been a really positive addition to our homestead. We're so happy to share our journey with you, whether it's the goats or the gardening or anything else that we do around here. We love to share it with you. We've had a few more subscribers lately, and we just want to say thank you for sharing our journey. And if you haven't yet subscribed to us, please consider doing so if you like our content. Our goal is to reach as many people as possible. We really do enjoy inspiring people to do just a little bit more for themselves. We truly get a sense of dignity in raising a garden, raising chickens, growing and preserving our own food. And we want to share that sense of dignity and fulfillment with other people. You can help us do so by subscribing and sharing our content. We thank you so much for doing that. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you so much for watching.